Paolo.
Yeah, he's playing Cork, isn't he?
Is he?
He's playing Cork next year.
Do you know what I am going to?
Well,
Pints in a Field.
What?
Pints in a Field.
The fuck is that?
It's the Two Johnnies festival that there's.
Oh, God, I could say nothing worse. You love them, don't you?
Yeah, but Bewitched and Base Hunter are part of the lineup.
How do I know? For some reason, it came to my mind. Adriana Po, Bonita Anna, Anna. I don't know why I know the Polish version of that song.
What? Okay. Are you singing Bewitched?
No.
Base Hunter.
Hunter's Now You're Gone, but in Polish.
What? That's so random. That is extremely random.
I don't know why I know it, but I do.
I don't know how you know it either, but look, funny, funky things
That's
happen,
it.
don't they?
These lads, that song was...
Yeah, so Pints in a Field tickets go on sale on Friday morning, so...
What a tune.
I love you. Imagine that in a field.
In a field. Don't know why I know the foreign version of that, but anyway.
Yeah. So I'm going to Pints in a Field. It's not on until June.
Okay, what field is it?
It's in Musgrave Park in
nice.
Cork. Yeah. So tickets go on sale on Friday. So let's not release this podcast until afterwards. Just in case everyone's like, oh my God, I need to buy tickets, and then they sell out, and I'll be like, well, thanks.
Yeah.
Cool.
Or someone could hear it and go, we want her there. Let's get her some VIP passes.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
V to the ITP.
Sure, because I'm quite the
the
attraction
diva.
there
That's
for
it. For Pints in a V.
for Pints in a Field. They wanted to call it Cans in a Field, but they couldn't legally actually call it that because
Why?
I think it's to do with safety. Like, I don't think you can actually sell cans. Like, you know, if you bought a bottle at a festival,
they take
the screw off because they become like missiles and weapons if they've the lid on. So
cans can be crushed down and used as a weapon.
Exactly. So they're like, it's Pints in a Field.
Pints in a Field, everybody.
Yeah.
Who's doing it? Do you know who's doing it? Or is it just
I think it's them and whoever runs their production and marketing and bits.
smart?
Because
It's pretty damn smart, to be fair.
but also they sell out everything that they sell or that they have. Like when they have events, they have a pretty good viewing, like, or following. So yeah.
So it's been a long time. It has been nearly 4 or 5 weeks. But again, you got COVID. We were busy, up the walls, everything. So much has happened.
So much has happened.
A new MacBook. You have a new iPhone.
Yeah, I got a few new gadgets since we had our last podcast. I've upgraded.
Can you just tell everyone what you said to me?
Okay, I will repeat
Just,
it.
yeah.
But just so you know, this is something I don't say a lot. But
Like ever.
you were right, Jay. You were right. You said, I was like, I think I might get a new laptop. And I really liked Asus. I really did. And I still do. But you were like, get the new MacBook. And I was like, no. But then I got it. And it's phenomenal. Like, do you know what? It's the compatibility. So obviously I'm recording a lot more content. I got the new iPhone 14 Pro. I can't really review it yet because I haven't really had much time with it.
Will you do a full review for it? Like a video and stuff?
I don't think I'll actually do a proper one. But
You
I
should
mean,
do more YouTube. You kill YouTube.
it's time, Jay.
It is.
It is time. But it is time. But once once my course finishes, my digital marketing course this is the last week of it, so I have a little bit more time to kind of dedicate to content creation and bits on my side, because it has kind of especially like, I think if you don't have, for me, I had the iPhone 11 and it was fine, it was grand, but I think it comes, like, every iPhone comes to a certain point. If you use the absolute, like, if you use it to death for like 2.5 years, no matter if I had like the newest iPhone and I still use that for 2.5 years, the iPhone is like it's like I'm done. Yeah. So even storage, like the quality of things, it was getting slow. It was getting really glitchy with like Instagram for reels and stuff. And like I was creating a reel for a client and it was taking ages because I was timing it to every single beat and it crashed. Like it crashed.
God.
Almost at the end point. And my phone was on fire, like it was roasting hot. So, and I was about an hour deep at that stage, and I was so close to the end, because normally I save my reel before I publish it anyway, but it just glitched, and
With
I
that
was like,
scenario, would you not do CapCut?
well, yeah, I could, but I prefer, like, CapCut's great, but the quality, you know, it compresses in CapCut and then it compresses again. Like, I love CapCut for editing if you have like really, really good footage like that now, 4K or whatever quality. But if you're already using compressed files or like lower quality files, it's like compression and then compression again.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it was just, I just got a notion. There was a trending sound and I was like, that would be really cool. And I'm going to use this. And then
I know. You were
whack.
just there. You had a cup of coffee.
It was
you were
just in
happy
the
to
moment.
go.
And I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
hey, I'm just going to use this and I'm going to go with it. And it glitched and my phone was on fire. So it just came to the point where I was just frustrated. And then I kind of was turned off my own content creation for myself. So now that I have all the gadgets and the course is nearly finished, I'm like, ooh, opportunity.
Yeah.
So yeah.
The compression thing, if you do shoot 4K on your phone and you do use an editing tool like CapCut, if you can export it at 1080p, it's much better for the compression in Instagram. It doesn't compress that much at all, and you still have that crystal clear, because you know the kind of pixely look.
Yeah.
If you upload to 4K, a lot of the time it give, because it just it can't handle it for some reason.
Yeah. I've noticed that. Okay.
So if you have it in 4K, edit in 4K and all that stuff, but then if you can, I know you're saying the reels and stuff, but even like if you can export the footage in 1080p and then you'll have that 4K resolution. It makes no sense, but you'll have that crystal clear image.
Yeah, because I find sometimes if I shoot in, I even find sometimes if I shoot in HD 60, which is super clear, and then I upload it into Instagram, let's just say for a reel, and it's ready to go, it just compresses it.
Yeah, it can't handle 60 frames. It can only do 24 frames per second. So when you do 60 frames per second, it's like, nah.
So what would you recommend? Like,
again, if you can, 4K, even HD 60, if you're exporting it out into 24 frames per second, it should give you the option when you're exporting out.
Okay.
So
wait.
No, you're fine. Go for it.
So if I was, it's great to have your expertise, but if I was to shoot on my phone in, let's just say HD 60, it looks stunning on my phone, right? I pray it, I play it, and it looks stunning on my phone. And then I'm like, right, that is literally ready to put into an Instagram reel as is. So I go into Instagram reels, I upload my content, I put on my audio, and then I publish it, but now it's pixelated. So would I be better off shooting in HD 30 so that it can upload seamlessly?
Like, yes, it would work a bit better, definitely. But like, it's a trek, but the ideal scenario would be the likes of you import it to CapCut.
Yeah, and then save it out at 1080p.
And just save it out at 1080p, like, so you have that whole resolution, and it's
fair.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's
a
good
balls,
advice.
but if it's only 9 clips, it's not a big deal.
Well, yeah, I mean, if it's literally going through an app to then be ready to go, then that's fair.
So that would be, because I use Final Cut, so I put all my footage as that, and I'd be able to export out then. But like as you said, 4K is class of the phone, but if you just render it out then, just to have that. Do you know when you see some ads, you're like, oh my God, that's gorgeous.
Yeah.
And then you're like, why doesn't mine look
I know that some footage, like from certain accounts that create content constantly, that's not like voiceovers. It's like really good, like editorial looking content that it's shot on an actual camera and not on a phone. So it was just interesting to see what you thought about that.
Your course is almost finished. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And you have the kind of, not the easier section, but you said you tackled everything very hard at the start, and this is a bit more lighter.
Yeah, so I have a lot of now. I mean, it finishes with Meta Ads Manager, and if you are not used to Meta Ads Manager, then it is
goddamn minefield.
Ending heavy. But no, it's going well. I did started heavy with like SEO, Google Ads, Analytics, and GA4 as well. So it is like oof, and then it's kind of a bit lighter when it comes to social media, and not even like it's just because it's so like heavy with data and scripting, and like it's just a lot. But like the course as a whole, it's coming together quite nicely. So yeah, I really am. Yeah, so it just takes up like it's quite time consuming. I think anybody who runs any online courses, and obviously I know from lecturing as well, it's like it is time consuming to do it all, and then you're managing students and you're making sure everything's okay. And obviously because you're putting your name to it, you're like, are you okay?
Yeah.
Is everyone okay? Does anybody have any questions? Yeah. So no, but it is like it's fab. I feel like it's been a long time. Like I feel like it's
flown though.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like this time of year, October, I feel like it's busy and the days feel like they're going quick, but then I feel like last week was like a month ago.
Yeah.
It's just, it's mad. There's so much going on. But yeah, we're coming into Christmas time, Black Friday time, our favourite times.
Just the joys of it all.
Marketers' favourite time of the year.
You ready for it?
yeah, do you know what I am?
Yeah.
Like, as much as I can be, yes. I know that it is an extremely competitive time. I actually have a couple of clients who are not going to be advertising during the next couple of months because they're like, do you know what? It's not our time. It's a highly competitive time. And it is smart because, I mean, obviously, if you're not in the kind of retail space, if you don't really have an offering around that time, and if it's not necessarily a peak time for you to get inquiries, it is a more expensive time to be advertising. So,
yeah.
I mean, I definitely get that. You're competing in a very heavily competitive space. I'm definitely doing a lot more TikTok advertising as well, and I'm absolutely loving it. Yeah, loving it.
The whole process of it.
Yeah, it's just because it's like there's so many kind of things that I'm testing out at the moment, like when it comes to retail and collections and products and overlays and interactive add-ons, and I'm like, ooh, I'll try this and this and this. So yeah, because I have been doing TikTok ads now for about a year and a half. So it's just cool now to see all the updates and upgrades that they're doing with the platform. So it's really cool.
And see what works and what doesn't work in different campaigns and
yeah, exactly.
This kind of stuff. Is the click out rate still huge?
It's
expensive?
No, it's after improving a lot.
Really?
Yeah, so before I was always like heavying up on awareness, impressions, reach, like top of funnel advertising. But now I'm using actual like product ads, bottom of funnel, and are seeing sales.
Nice.
I'm like, oh wow.
Nice.
So it's nice to see that people, obviously the longer that people spend on apps, it's the same happened with Instagram. It took a while for people to leave platform to convert on site or convert on another app or whatever it is. So it's nice now to see that people are starting to kind of trust links more, trust ads more, get more used to it, and so people are now more inclined to click out and go to site and go to app and go to whatever it is. So yeah,
nice.
well, like so far I think like if you're thinking about it for Black Friday, might be a nice one to test with, even not necessarily sales ads, but even just like traffic driving ads, like middle of funnel. Go for it.
Yeah.
Small bit of budget.
Yeah. I'm doing Google ads as well at the moment, but they're fine. It's fine. Do you mean it's running about a month and a half and there's like 1,300 clicks. It's about 24 cents click.
That's good, yeah.
It's not bad.
If you're getting a good conversion out of it, good.
So wait and see, just tip it away. It's just awareness, because when people, Google it, you want to be on the list somewhere.
Yeah.
For photography, content, whatever it is, video. So it's just that kind of stuff.
I love Google Ads. I think if obviously when you get the keywords right, it's just like a lovely, well-oiled machine.
Yeah, it just connects, and then to the analytics and the tags and
it's so good. Yeah, it gives you so much information about everything.
Speaking about being on your phone, I did something the last day. It was driven by a YouTuber I love, Peter McKinnon, and a few people listening might know what happened. He did this thing where he found a chap who's not a minimalist, but he was a minimalist when he's come out of it. But if you look at my phone now, the home screen, it's completely black and there's no apps. And down the very bottom bar, there's one little folder, and you tap in the folder and it's everyday apps, and you swipe and it's every week apps, and that's it. And then I deleted half my apps off my phone. So like about 60% of them went. If you don't know what it does by looking at it, you delete it immediately. And I turned off most notifications. Obviously not the important ones, but most notifications are gone.
Yeah.
So like I have no Instagram notifications, nothing like that. And it's literally, my productivity has just skyrocketed. I've forgotten my phone. I've like left the house and forgot my phone about it. Like, and this is only not even 5-6 days.
That's very good. Yeah.
It's crazy.
I think some people who have like a notification, like that little one symbol or their notification in some app, it's like they have this kind of need to get rid of that notification because it's there. So I used to be like that now. I used to have loads of apps, and then obviously I had a phone that was like, my storage is full all the time. So I actually like that. I've had the necessary apps on my phone for so long. And actually, interestingly, when I got my new phone, I didn't do the whole mirroring. So I didn't
copy over
No, I didn't. I signed into my iCloud, but I didn't map it. I didn't back up like my last phone. I just said, I'm starting fresh and I'm just going to download the apps that I need and that I use. And I'm going to, like, obviously my phone, like my last phone's backed up to the cloud. So like images and stuff like that, I was like, I'm just going to try and start just even like that with the apps, with the apps I really, really need, and I'll download as I need them.
Yeah.
So I don't have loads of apps. I just have the ones that I need. And I've been managing my notifications as I'm downloading the apps. So I'm like, if I download the likes of Pinterest, I don't need to get notifications from that. I'm not necessarily using it too heavily right now for clients, but it's there and I still need it. It's a resource and it's still present for some clients organically, but I don't need notifications. So like that, I download it, notifications off. So I totally agree with you. I think if you're constantly being pinged or if you're being reminded if there's something happening,
like you said, you're working at the moment and your productivity is huge. If you see your phone lighting up, you're like, oh, what's that? Oh, I have to get back to that. And like
that's why I have a Fitbit on my hand, but I don't have an Apple Watch because I use my Fitbit for literally
working.
Fitbit. That's it. I do not have like any notifications that come through in it because I don't want that. I don't want to be constantly reminded. And I think when you work in digital marketing, like when you're on, but when you're off, you should be completely switched off. So like that, my screen time at the weekend is so low. I rarely am on my phone at the weekend. Like it's obviously I have things like email will always be on, and obviously my clients can call or text if something happened. Yeah. But generally, I'm not scrolling. Like if you looked at my screen time for like Saturday and Sunday, and I'm usually not really that much on my stories either. I'm just like, it's like tumbleweed on my profile usually in the weekend unless I schedule content because I'm just like, I need to switch off. Yeah. And I think it's so important, especially now we're coming into such a busy time.
I saw one for you that you might like or you might hate.
Okay.
Rich Weber is a designer in the States. He's class. He literally he works this method of productivity and that's his mindset and all that stuff, and he has guests on and he has a Wednesday newsletter and it's just chock-a-block full of value. Like I'll send it on to you, it'll be worth it. But he was talking to this woman and he says, I love this email signature from her. And it was literally some girl, hey, thank you so much for your email. Underneath it is, please do not respond to this if you don't have time. Respond to this on your own time, whenever you're free. I only respond to my emails every Friday. And that's it. So she spends the day on Friday is meetings and emails. Now, obviously, she's a designer, which I thought was kind of cheeky because obviously if someone needs something, but this is her work. Like
at the same time, she's setting her boundaries and her expectations. Like I think that's really important because I know that like I'm not that kind of person. Now, it depends on the level of urgency, but if I get an email, I don't respond right away. If I'm in the middle of another project or if I'm with a client or like that, while we're doing the podcast, if I'm getting emails, but they're not like, they need to be answered straight away. I think it's like you set that expectation and you need that kind of breathing space, especially if it's with clients that are like, if it's like a once-off thing and, you know, things like that where you need to set that expectation of like setting a deadline and then setting expectations from the start. So if you have maybe like a monthly catch-up and then maybe you send them like a monthly report and stuff like that so that they're constantly like they have that kind of reassurance that things are going okay, that you're sending them a report, and if anything obviously comes up that they'll let you know. Yeah. But I've had that in the past, even just in other jobs where clients just email single questions constantly. And it's like, that's why if you feel that that's happening and you're spending a lot of time outside of the payment hours or outside of whatever that you've agreed, then that's where you say, okay, look, let's add a 30 to an hour call a month to your retainer. And then that will be when all questions are answered, because obviously if somebody's emailing you single questions 4 times a week, you're not going to be able to get to all of them. You'll probably miss one of them, and then they'll feel like they can constantly do that. Whereas like if they're not things that are urgent, then they're things that can be done on a call. Then things like tone and, you know, stuff like that. Like there's no frustration there. It's just that you're like, okay, I understand that you're somebody who probably has a lot of questions that might want a little bit of extra help with planning outside of maybe the remit of what I can do or what I'm currently doing with you. So let's schedule that time and get it done during that time. So if you feel like but also if you're that kind of person who constantly emails back straight away, because that's the kind of person you are, that's how you operate. Personally, I'm not, because I feel like if I set that expectation, it's so much pressure. Every time you get an email, it's so much pressure, especially if you don't know the answer straight away. 'Cause sometimes it's an intricate question that requires screenshots, that requires you checking in on something, or like maybe developing a quick report. So you're not going to be getting to that. And if I'm in the middle of another client project that I've scheduled into my calendar for that time, then I'm not taking time out of that client's paid time to answer a question that can wait, you know?
Yeah. Interesting you said that, because I was going to bring this up. I was talking to a potential client. I was quoting and stuff. We did a call and answered all questions and all this stuff. And they said, look, can you send us over a quote after? I said, absolutely no problem. Any questions? Sorted. Sent the quote over. And I got about 3 or 4 more emails with more questions.
Yeah.
Just like, okay, fair enough. And then they said, you're on the call. They said that, look, you're not the only one we're talking to, which I loved. Look, we're talking to 2 other people, whatever it is. I sent the quote and stuff, and they said, after 3 or 4 emails and more questions, they said, can you give us a full price breakdown on the quote? I was like, should I? I argued myself, should, like, if my price is good enough, you say yes, but we want a full price breakdown, or like there's 3 other people who are going to get full price, like, are they just scope? I don't know. What do you mean? To me, it didn't feel right to me. I was like, I did it in the end. I shouldn't have. But I want to talk to you about that. I thought it was interesting. Like, before they said yes to me or let's move ahead, they said we want a full price breakdown of your quote.
Now, it does depend, right? Because the way that I quote on like the various projects. I know it's different for things like content creation because there's a lot that goes into that. But I think that, like, if you are if we'll say I'm like, I need to do audit, strategy, content planning and execution, and then analysis at the end. I do break down those in terms of, here are the things I'll be working on. Here is the price for those things, and then here's the total amount.
Yeah.
And if someone was like, can I get a breakdown of all of those individual things? I'm like, but what like, I wake up and I turn on my laptop and then, you know, like, I wouldn't go to that extreme. But I think, like, if you're sending a quote where it's like, and I get that if you know they're talking to somebody else, you don't want to spend all your time putting a big, huge proposal together, because that you're 1 in 3 chance of getting the project. But I think that, like, if it's like a big chunk, especially if it's a big quote, then if you're like editing time, production time, location, scouting, whatever it is, and they're kind of broken down, then I get why somebody would want that breakdown, because maybe they are like, what can we do in-house to maybe bring down this cost a small bit? Like, I've had to do that before, where I would have been heavily involved in a project and then I get like a substantial quote from somebody, and I'm like, okay, would you mind just actually breaking that down? Because if it's a case of like actor scouting or like that, where you need to hire them,
but did you state that? Did you say, can we break down, we might just want to do something in-house, or did you say, can I have a full breakdown, please?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say, can I have an exact full...
Well, do you know what I mean?
I would probably say something like, would you mind just breaking that down a little bit further for me? Yeah. I don't know, would I say because of this, that, and maybe it's just for me to get more clarity on, like, if I see that there is a big cost. And I know, like, even before I went into the land of like being kind of director and helping out behind the scenes on production, I was kind of oblivious to how long editing time took and how long. So sometimes if somebody sees a quote, especially for things like video production, they go, whoa, that's really expensive, because they don't know what goes into it. And then when they see editing time, then that's when they're like, oh, right, okay, I didn't realize it takes that long to edit this film or this video. I get it now. Or I didn't realize, because obviously, like, even when I was doing quotes, because I partner on video projects a lot, so like when I do quotes, you have to do things like, things take time to plan. Like, if you're hopping on a call, if you're storyboarding even before the shoot takes place, all of that takes time. So that needs to be factored into it too. But somebody who's oblivious will just see, like, let's just say 10 grand, this is how much your shoot's going to cost, and they'll be like, absolutely no way, that's way too expensive. But then you're like, but wait,
here's why,
this is why. And then I get that breakdown. So
it's a bit of both. It was kind of, because I broke it down in the quote that so pre-production, this kind of stuff, I broke that fully down. But then they wanted to put a price on that, which was, I was like, okay, I'll do it, no problem. But it was just, to me, I was like, didn't sit well. But
I think if something doesn't feel right though, like if you're quoting for something, and look, I've had intro calls with people that I just get a vibe, and it's not really something they'd say, but it's just how they are, and you get a vibe. And I think when you're in the industry for a while, you know,
you've dealt with it.
You can hear the red flags coming out of people. And you're like, ooh, ooh, and you just get a gut feeling. And then you have your intro call, everything is fine, and you're like, grand. And then you'll just kind of say, look, at the moment, you know, I am a little bit at capacity, or maybe it's not something that would suit your services and you feel like they need a little bit extra, or they need a bit more, or maybe they don't know what they're looking for yet. But I think if you get that gut feeling, then it's there for a reason.
Yeah, listen to it.
Yeah.
Going back to what you said about just quoting in the hourly, the price point, that kind of thing. I saw an interesting thing. I was on a sales webinar thing and whatever it was, freelancing, and he said you should never charge an hourly rate, because let's say you, who's someone extremely experienced versus someone who's not, and they're good but they're not as good, like you could do the same work if not better in half the time. Why should you suffer not being paid the same amount, if that makes sense? So I'm extremely good. We agreed to do a logo together. I say this logo is going to take 10 hours and it's 500 euro, whatever it is. I do it in 5. You love it. It's still an amazing logo. Should I not get the same, if that makes sense?
Well, I don't. Well, if it's a project, I don't charge by the hour.
But would not be even for content creators and social media people, would not be a package idea? Look, you're getting 15 pieces of content, you're getting a monthly plan, where they shouldn't say, oh, I'll do 4 hours of work for you. It should say there's a shoot included, there's this included, and this and
then it's a package. Yeah.
I just think, because I talked to a few people after, like everyone, I said, every kind of younger person I was talking to, like, oh yeah, I'll charge by hour.
I think I would only charge by hour if people needed my specific time.
It's overages to me, like hourly rates is overages and consulting, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. That's the only time I charge an hourly rate. The rest is all project based. Yeah. So you have your fee for ads management, you have your fee for content creation, you have your fee for strategy, you have your fee for training. And then like that, if somebody wants to book you by the hour, that's the only time I would ever charge by the hour. So I think you pigeonhole yourself a small bit if you...
100%.
Especially for things like content creation, because mother of God, that takes ages.
But as well, if you're good at it and you get 5 or 6 pieces done in half an hour and a client loves them, why should you not be paid for that specific quality?
Well, I think caveat it. So... If you offer content creation and social media management as a service, then you need to caveat it. So yes, it can take 2 seconds to create a piece of content if you have access to a library of content, or if you have easy access to the client, their products, their services. But if you're dealing with a client who is, let's just say they're service-based and extremely busy, and they still expect you to bang out 3 to 4 pieces of content every week, and you're literally working with nothing, it's going to take you longer. You need to do more research, especially if it's in an area like specific, or let's just say it's like a scientific or medical background, that like you need to make sure everything that you're posting is well researched and approved by client. That then, like, I think if you're doing a pricing package, you need to be careful, because you can, yes, absolutely, so easy. Let's just say if I was doing it for the restaurant across the road, and I work here every day, I could be like, oh, I'm just going to pop across the road, get 10 pieces of content, whack, that's 10 posts. I'll go back again in 2 weeks' time and get 10 more. Like, super easy. There you go, bang it out, whack, whack, whack. Whereas it's not as easy.
Quantity surveyor out in Louth that you have to go up to site. And
that's the thing. And it's like they still require 3 to 4 posts a week. It takes so much longer for them. And also, it's hard to come up with fresh ideas for clients that are very niched. So... If you have a package, great, but caveat that, like, have asterisks or stars on it being this is based on either being provided with content every month or an on-site visit once or twice a month. But then if I do an on-site visit and you're far away, it costs this much. If I'm not provided with content, or I'm not able to do content creation on site, I then have to develop graphics. That costs this much. So you need to be careful about your pricing, because yes, you could be fantastic, but we all have had or have those clients that it's like when you have to sit down and create a month's worth of content and you're like, I cannot use the same image for the millionth time. I've used the client's headshot 400 different ways. Like, it's more complicated, so you need to price accordingly with that too.
Yeah, big time. I just thought it was interesting because everyone I talked to, they were like, I did a freelancing 101 workshop and everyone on the call was hourly. And I was like, oh, lads, you're hurting yourselves. And it was like, to them, they were like, oh, actually, you're right.
Yeah. So I get that outside of your project work that you'd have if content creation goes beyond a certain amount of time, X amount will be charged per hour, because obviously you need to protect yourself that way too. But
no, a little insight to our lives there. Thanks so much. Elon, Twitter, he's buying out again, is he?
Is he? Do we?
Do you know, I'm looking at the headlines here. There's nothing crazy happening. Instagram working on achievement badges. Thanks, Instagram. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
I saw YouTube roll out handles.
Yes, for mentions that you can mention now. Have you been doing many YouTube shorts? I'm thinking of experimenting with them a little bit more.
I have been, and I've actually been getting good results. I put up a little 6-second, 5 images, kind of a food shoot I did with the chef.
Yeah.
So I love working with Isaac, amazing chef. And within 3 minutes, it was like, no, it's YouTube. Let's take that in. But it was like 2,000 views.
That's very good.
On YouTube,
I've heard really good things about YouTube Shorts, and I've only really experimented with not even 2 clients. I'd say maybe 1 properly. But I've heard really good things about it, so I'm like, I think I might kind of start exploring that a little bit.
Again, I'm just cross-posting. I'm just taking the content from TikTok.
Oh, of course, yeah. There's no need to create.
iDown.io, lad.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Yeah, I told you about that, didn't I?
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
iDown.io, if you're ever stuck for... Like, because the reels... I'm kind of getting pissed off at Instagram templates, though, because they have not changed up at all for any of my accounts. They're all the same templates.
I think, well, I suppose it's kind of similar to TikTok as well, where they have set templates, and that's it.
Bro, refresh it a small bit.
Well, I mean, you can find fresh templates by scrolling through reels and then finding them, but I know it's a bit extra, but yeah.
Trek.
Or you could just do the same as me and spend an hour editing to the beat and then lose your reel.
Yeah, no, I've learned my lesson that way, that templates are the way to go, and then iDown. If you find the one, obviously if you can't, then you do the full edit yourself.
It's so weird that you're calling it iDown. It's InDown.
InDown, sorry, InDown.io. Sorry, the IO is catching me.
InDown.io, yeah, it's very handy.
Any other crack?
Not much. Like, I don't think that there's a huge amount of headlines that would be worthy for our listeners too much. But like that, it is that time of year. I think like kind of summer into September, it's like not too much changes, and people know obviously that people are planning for the like Black Friday campaigns and Christmas, so I don't think they're going to change their interfaces too much. TikTok is definitely trying to be like, we're now doing this, so I feel like they're rolling out a lot more retail friendly. Do you see
like, the Be Real kind of job? Have you seen that?
The TikTok, TikTok Now.
Yeah.
It's the same as Be Real. I think like if you're like, I feel like right now it's at its infancy, so I think people are like, I'm only showing friends. Like for me with Be Real, I'm only showing, it's only friends only right now. But I get like it can be good if you capture a moment in Be Real or in TikTok Now where it's shareable on other platforms. So I think if you were like, oh, I have the time, the only thing, like it negates what we said earlier about notifications being sent. Be Real was giving me anxiety because it would be like, it's time to be real, and you'd be like, I'm on a call, I can't do that right now. So, but
the client sees you posing or some shit.
Yeah,
like,
but
no.
I mean, you can do it, but you can publish it late.
Yeah.
But like, I think if you were, I think sometimes you can kind of get caught up in a moment and you're like, oh yeah, this is the perfect time for Be Real because it's kind of like random and fun. But Meta, like, I feel like, I know that we don't talk too much about VR, but with Horizon, which is basically like the metaverse or the metas area of the metaverse where you can have your avatars. Now they're getting like full length avatars, so it's like not just like upper body and arms and head, it's like legs as well. So they're making a big deal out of this being like, now you can have like your full avatar and create that in Meta and then have like a space in the metaverse there. With Horizons, they're also upgrading their Oculus, and it's going to also have facial recognition. So it's going to have eye tracking in it. Whoa. And it's going to have expressions so that your avatar will actually literally match exactly what your face is doing. So it's going to have like a kind of a dual view of what you see and then what they see you doing. So yeah.
Be Real.
Look, Oculus, it has been around for a long time. It is becoming a little bit more, I suppose the older sets are becoming a lot more affordable. They're stepping a little bit out of the gaming world and they're moving more into avatar because they're like, we understand. Now look, metaverse, Meta, like all of that kind of virtual reality world is a long way off yet. Very, very much so. But I think they're trying to be like, if we can do this, if we can make it more accessible, if we can maybe do facial tracking, like we can do expression mapping, then if people are, you know, wanting to host meetings, host like a space in the metaverse where their avatars are present, and then they can have like team meetings with their avatars, and then I can like move my head and express myself, and you're seeing my avatar basically match me, then it's like they're building out this world for people that's more accessible, but it makes more sense. It's not like this complete step out of reality. It is basically trying to be as close to reality as possible.
Yeah.
So now them adding legs and them upgrading their Oculus, it's only going to get better. They definitely need to make them more affordable, I feel, like these new headsets.
£400 or £500, a bit more.
The newest ones, I'd say they're more than that.
Yeah.
Like the dual one is definitely more, 100%.
Yeah.
But like that, I don't know, is it time to really invest in it yet, because things are really, they're slowly improving. But yeah, like Meta, like people are so scared of the metaverse, and I know even things like crypto is in a really bad place right now. So it's like
still in its infancy. Crypto is so young.
It is, but it's not doing great.
No,
like it's
at all.
very, very much so not doing great. But look, at this moment in time, I think it's interesting to learn about it and keep yourself informed about it. I feel like things are on a little bit of a hold right now, or a hodl, as they say in the crypto world. But yeah.
Are you still holding?
Yeah, of course I am. But look,
I just finished a book called The Psychology of Money.
Oh, interesting.
By
okay.
Morgan Housel. Top-notch book. Well worth it. I'll give it to you if you want it. It's fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah, just learning properly about stocks and bonds, and he doesn't make it boring.
Yeah, I hate it when people
interesting.
overcomplicate things like investing.
He's very into compounding interest and like years and years of investing.
Right.
Like pure example is like Warren Buffett, you know, the huge multi-billionaire mogul, worth 86 million.
Yeah.
86 billion, I should say. But 85 billion of that came after his 65th birthday. So it's all about compounding. He just goes into the whole thing and he hits you these facts and you're like, damn.
Yeah, see, that's it. I like it when people make it like approachable and easy to digest and learn. Whereas I think that now it's like anyone who creates, like I would never create like here's how to understand crypto.
I know.
I'm not there yet. Like I'm slowly investing in it. I'm holding right now. But I would never be like, here's how to invest crypto. Because if I did, I'd want it to be so easy for people to understand. Yeah. And I just feel like right now, everyone who knows everything about crypto is being, pardon the pun, cryptic about it. Because they're like, if I teach people that, you know, I kind of want to keep a little bit to myself.
They're teaching you, they're giving you €11 per crypto coin if you learn about the coin and you learn about crypto. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't.
So if you go to your crypto section, it will offer you redeem this €11 coin or whatever, you can put it into this coin. But what it is it's a paragraph, you learn about it and then they quiz you, and if you pass the quiz they reward you with $11 or €11 to spend in crypto. It's interesting.
Okay.
It is interesting, so check it out.
Is it their way of getting people to invest in crypto right now, because people are not doing that?
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I buy all my stocks through Revolut. Like, I don't have a broker.
No, but you don't necessarily need to have a broker, but like people have loads of different apps that they use. But I get that's Revolut's way of being like
smart.
Hey,
come on, guys, join the party.
Come on.
Come here, almost 40 minutes. It's been fun. It's great to be back.
It's been fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Shoulder dance.
Great to be back. Ooh, shimmy, shimmy, shimmy. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Thank you,
Republic of Work, for sponsoring. We actually had an interesting conversation earlier about Republic of Work, and I was like, if you had, like, it's such a good place for people who are like, I have a product, or I have a really, like, I'm very much at the infancy of business, because like if you're like at the starting point and you need a hub, they have they've accelerator programs, they've so much tech here, they've advisors,
office hours, all kind of stuff.
Oh my God, you have access to mentors and everything, and it's just like, yes, obviously co-working, amazing, and I know we talk about that aspect of it a lot, but I just want to say, like, it's just the place to go.
If you're in that startup world, and you want to be submerged in that world, and you want
assistance, and you just need to, like that, be sitting alongside someone who's like, oh yeah, I'm like entrepreneur. I own like 400 businesses. If you want to grab a coffee and you're like, yes, please. So really good space. Thank you so much for sponsoring us, Republic of Work, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.
Later.